Good morning, everyone. I've got that stupid grin on my face, which means that some people are getting ridiculous, and it's going to be one of those days. Good morning. This is Coffee and Headlines. This is our morning get together live here on Facebook. There are hairs. I need to shave my head. My God, the world is coming to pots. This is our little get together. It is Friday. Today is Friday, and it's supposed to be one of those things in which we go. It's thank God it's Friday, and thank God it's Friday. It's Friday, July 30th, and the news are going to be interesting and informative and colorful and amusing and cynical today. So we have a little bit of everything. I see that my cousin Norma is in Mexico. She's in the city of Leon, and I see my sister is joining us. I see all kinds of fun things in your comments. Hola Cluster, positive news only. It's Friday, says Alan. Well, we'll try to make a positive twist on everything we can get our hold on today. There's some good news. There's some strange news. But anyhow, I don't want to get ahead of myself. If this is your first time here, my name is Paco. We're harmless. So let us know that you are new by just writing the word new in your comment, and we'll give you a nice welcome. If you have something absolutely important. Oh, Professor Harper. Hello. It's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. My goodness. I hope life is treating you well. You get my beating heart just because you're here. So there. Anyhow, if you have something important to share, add the letter Q to it at the beginning of your comment, and we will try our damnness to address it during the second half of the broadcast. First half news, then we follow with the weather, then we take a look at your comments. So let us just dive in and see what's in store for us today. Everything seems to indicate, and notice how I'm leading this, everything seems to indicate there is a strong probability that the second vaccines for the 50-plus age group will be made available this coming week, according to a couple of local news sources, one of which also mentions that it is possible that folks in the 40-plus age group will be able to get vaccinated as well. This would be the second shot. This was revealed yesterday by Jaime Alvarez Sayas of the 8th Sanitary Region. This is our sanitary region here in Puerto Vallarta. And since the local health board met yesterday, I have a reason to believe that this will actually happen. So keep your fingers crossed. Keep your calendar wide open. As you know, we usually don't get much warning or head notice when vaccines become available, but everything seems to indicate that this will actually happen. We're harmless. Of course we're harmless, Heather. We're harmless until we are not. Impossible to avoid your comments today. You guys are full of commentary, and it's beautiful. Moving right along, according to a news source, the state of Nayarit now has the highest hospital occupancy in the country. COVID related occupancy, of course, 79%, followed by Mexico City with 73%, and Colima with 68%. This is rather disconcerting considering that the state of Jalisco is surrounded in the coast by both Nayarit and Colima. So, with Colima having such high hospital numbers, it is no surprise that the government of, with Nayarit having such high hospital numbers, it is no surprise that the government of Nayarit has also sent out an order to close all bars and nighttime venues effective immediately, and also banning alcohol sales at restaurants, which can now only operate at 50% capacity. This is what Nayarit is doing. So, moving right along, in Puerto Vallarta, as I mentioned a second ago, the local health board met yesterday to confirm that bars will be closing and that bars with restaurant licenses can operate, well, as restaurants. This, of course, has been replicated by local news outlets, along with interim mayor Quinteros' warning that there will be constant revisions to ensure that bars are serving food. And he said, we are going to keep a watchful eye on you, and we're going to do this. And watch me just smirking and laughing. I think the cynicism. Well, never mind the cynicism. I'm just giddy with what the hell. I think we will unleash the parrots today, but not before the weather. Let's take a look at what's going on outside. And a great opportunity to cough. Vaccination is now mandatory for all on site employees at my secret Antarctic lair, says our snarky carrot weather this morning. Before I continue with that, yes, Michael, you heard me correctly. According to the news note, restaurants can open but no sale of booze in Nayarit. We'll get to the reaction from the restaurants in a second. That's going to be part of our closing package of news today. But back to the weather. It is 27 degrees right now, feels like 32. Humidity is at 93%. Our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 81. And we can expect rain and humidity throughout the day today with a high temperature of 35, low temperature of 25. Saturday, tomorrow, it'll be humid and mostly cloudy through the day. High temperature of 33, low temperature of 24. And on Sunday, possible light rain in the evening and overnight. High temperature of 33, low temperature of 24. Not major changes in the weather. I heard some grumbling last night, and I thought to myself, oh my God, are we going to have another one of those windy days? And fortunately, there was no such thing. Anyhow, let's see. Moving into the leisurely stuff. This is, well, it is what it is. There is a new initiative that is headed to City Hall today to install a monumental image of the Virgin of Guadalupe on top of the La Cruz hill, the vantage point behind El Centro. The initiative is being spearheaded by Jorge Zambrano, the owner of Andales Restaurant, who represents an organization that pretends to preserve traditional values in the city. Critics of the request have already frowned, expressing concern that this is more of a tourism gimmick and fear that all the streets leading to the location will be soon plagued by vendors selling Guadalupe figurines. This is, of course, the beautiful vantage point on top of the hill, which just a few years ago was contaminated with a structure that was supposed to be an even higher vantage point, and a cable car that never works, and a restaurant that's supposed to be open, and all kinds of things. So that is what it is. Let's see what happens with this situation. We take a quick jump to Tokyo, where we announced that the softball team, the ladies of the softball team, thought that they were a lot more valuable than the uniforms that they received from the Softball Federation, and now we learned that they are going to be sanctioned for throwing their uniform in the trash. Um, but you see, here's the thing: I saw a video that one of the Mexican athletes put together in showing the Olympic Village and what they get and so forth and so on. And when he was doing his tour, um, he he this was Romel Pacheco, the Mexican diver. He was showing that all athletes get these beautiful futons and pillows and fine linens and stuff like that. So you have to think about this for a second. You know, if you're an athlete and you don't have many resources, what do you bring back home? Do you make room in your luggage for the futon, or do you make room in your luggage for a uniform for which you didn't even get the medal? So I mean, there are two sides to each coin. You know, if you ask me, they could have held on to the uniforms and they could have sold them on eBay under a different name or something. Or maybe they could have put them up for auction, just like this other situation, which has nothing to do with Puerto Vallarta. But you must know that somewhere in the world there is a piece of frozen cake. And this cake has been frozen for 40 years. And before it was frozen, it was part of Prince Charles and Princess Diana's wedding cake. Yes, from the wedding 40 years ago. And now the frozen piece of cake is going up for auction. I don't even want to get into the amount of money that that they want for a piece of fucking frozen cake. I mean, don't get me started. Where is that parrot when you need it? Um, and now this is where all the news start breaking down. You see, yesterday I was let me give you some context. When we put together Coffee and Headlines, we usually sweep through the news at least 4 times a day. I sweep through the news early in the morning, right before the show. You know, when I'm prepping up, I get up around 7:30 in the morning or 8, and I look through all the news just to see what's happening. And then after the broadcast is over, I take another sweep. And then I usually have lunch and I take another sweep through the news just to see what's going on mid-afternoon. And then at night, before I go to bed or before I shut down the computer, I sweep for news a fourth time. And yesterday, I was having lunch. I was having a piece of bread and cheese and a glass of wine, and I started identifying a trend. You see, Governor Alfaro tells us what it is, and we, notice immediately because as we say in Spanish, somos unos chingones. We are paying attention and we are great at what we do, or we try to be. So immediately we figure out what Governor Alfaro is about to say and we share it with you. And then, of course, the next day, the local newspapers get caught on with what Governor Alfaro said, and they create that to be the news item. But then the following day, local reporters seem to get into this mode of, okay, so what do we do now? What do we do now? So they start going to government officials or representatives of the different chambers, and then they get their opinion on the news. So yesterday I was having lunch in the afternoon, and there were all these opinions from community leaders and stuff like that saying, well, Puerto Vallarta should not be like other places where they're requesting vaccination proof whenever you want to get into a business or a bar or this or that or the other. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to burden the Coffee and Headlines cluster with this sort of commentary because it's just silly. But some of the reactions that I've read between yesterday and today about Alfaro's decision to close bars are just laughable. And this is what we're going to wrap the show with before we get into commentary. I'm going to show you a few of these headlines because these are quite deserving of the what the fuck parrot. Let's start with this one. The governor says that he does not satanize bars, and yet he closes them. This is coming from the director of the Council of Bars, Discos, and performance venues for the state. His name is Cesar Garcia. Now, mind you, I'm not a bar owner. I'm not a bar employee. I cannot even imagine the nights that they're busy, the nights that they're not busy. I don't know what it's like, so I have no right to say what I'm about to say. All I can tell you is that as a citizen, as a person that walks past these places, and we saw the video of it, I've walked past the bars, and I know that that they're crowded, and I know that they're serving more people than they're supposed to be serving. So, what is the deal with this dude now saying, well, he said, let me show you. He said, where is it? He said that he said something along the lines of Governor Alfaro that there are other types of venues that are making infractions, but somehow Alfaro has decided to satanize us because we are the bars. It's like, give me a break. We can see that you are overcrowding your businesses, and you think we shouldn't be as harsh with you, or the government shouldn't be as harsh with you. Then there's this one. I told you just a second ago that restaurants in Nayarit are having restricted hours and restricted capacity. And now we learned that the Association of Restaurants from Banderas Bay have said, no, we're not going to abide. And the quote is really funny because the guy, the person that is in charge of the Restaurant Association says, we oppose this decision, which we consider absurd, when at federal level, they're not dictating any closures. It's like, man, nobody's saying that you should close completely your restaurant. What they're saying is that you tone things down a little bit. And you see, this is one of the problems when you have people in science making decisions and people that are not scientists trying to twist things around so that they're not as bad, or they don't seem as bad as they seem. Look at the last one that I'm going to show you. This one says, municipal government here in Puerto Vallarta, municipal government will look to soften restrictions in Puerto Vallarta, to somehow send a counter proposal to the governor saying, well, we're not as bad as we seem. We don't want our bars to be damaged as much as they're going to be. So we're going to send a counter proposal to the governor. It's like, where is that parrot? It is time for the parrot. We now unleash this one. Exactly. What the fuck? Now, you'd think that here at Coffee and Headlines we have some kind of vendetta against bars. We don't. We don't. But we have been reading. We have been paying notice, paying attention. This morning, Pam Thompson, God bless her, she sent me this very long message about how things are really looking here in Puerto Vallarta. And it is grim. It is grim with the number of cases. Are the cases now as deadly as they were before? No, they're not. But even still, the hospitals are completely saturated. So one thing that we need to remember, well, there are many things that we need to remember. This is not last year's coronavirus. It is a completely new mutation that is highly, highly more transmissible than the past. In fact, I read at least in one place that that it is now the most contagious virus out there. So the last headline that I'm going to share with you is really not a headline, but it is a good read from our friends in Vox. This is in English, and this is titled, How Much Worse Can the Coronavirus Get? The virus will keep evolving. Here's what scientists do and don't know about the future of COVID-19. So I think it's really, really important at this point in time that we get as informed as possible with everything that's going on, and back to all this bending over the rules to benefit certain people. It's like, you've had your chance. Bars, now close the freaking doors and be grateful that things are not worse than they are, because they really are not funny. Enough of that. Let's take a look at your comments. And let's see who is in the house. Um, I'm sorry to disappoint again, Alan. It is just one of those days in which the news are just too funny and crazy. Let's see what else we have. Canceled trip for August and feeling sad, buddy. Um, I would feel sad too, but there are good times and bad times to do things. And if you came to the conclusion that this was not the best of times for you to be here, you probably took yourself into account and prioritized your well being. And that's what it's supposed to be all about. Let's see. My sister and my cousin are having hellos. I wish we were all drinking tea or something. Let's see what else is going on. Uh, oh, I already laughed at this, but yeah. Hello, my name is Paco. We're harmless. We're gonna try that from now on, Heather, just to see if we do okay. Let's see. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, harmless like the beach at the Marriott. I needed that. Sly asks, do we have to wait the 12 weeks from the day we got our first shot to get the second shot? Sly, in Mexico, it's not about what we have to wait or not have to wait. In Mexico, it is about when the government makes the vaccines available, and who are we to question that? If you are in Mexico, and I assume you are because this is a broadcast for English speaking locals, then the answer to that question is we get the second shot when the second shot becomes available. Let's see what else. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I want to bring this up again because, yes, Michael, this is what I heard. Now, just imagine what it would be like if in Puerto Vallarta, the government decided to cancel sales of booze in restaurants. I mean, that would be really harmful because I know that restaurants derive a lot of income from booze sales. So that would be really, really tricky. Uh, let's see what else. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. AstraZeneca is best at 12 weeks. Yes, I've heard that. But again, you know, it's not like we can call the Mexican government and say, hey, Mexican government, it's time. Um, let's see. Traditional values can be such a loaded term. Don't get me started. This is about the image of the Virgin of Guadalupe. I mean, if I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. Let's see what else we have. Reading the news before bed can't really help with peaceful sleep. Ah, Terry, but you're forgetting about the brownie factor. See, we read the news around the last news sweep is around 7:30. Then I sit down, I have a glass of wine, I crochet, I eat my brownie, and then by 10:30 or 11, the sleep is just fine. Uh Paco, just carry on the show and I will be the parrot. Just touch your nose and scream, what the fuck? I'm going to make it easier on you, Michael. You guys can just scream, what the fuck, whenever you want in your own space. Because I feel like what the fucking quite frequently over here. Ba-da-ba-ba-bum. There are idiots like the people who write these headlines. They are everywhere. Uh, Dave, I have to agree with you. I don't like the use of the word idiots. I try to avoid it. But in this case, you're right. It is not idiots. I think what happens is there's just not enough curiosity out there in terms of finding things to write about or news items that are newsworthy and things like that. But that's a big complicated topic. Um, Lynn agrees with me. And Scott says, "Tómale" to the bars. Yes, tómale. Yes, absolutely. And again, it's not like we have a vendetta against the bars, but I mean, it is bars that have outrageously and blatantly and flagrantly, is that even a word? I think it is. Shamelessly, um, threw caution out the window. So, don't get me started with them. The news show, the news show, the three on my what? The news show the three on Malecon. No report on Code industry in Romantica Zone. Can't see info on them, but they're guilty if not as more. Uh, Oh, Scott's getting all excited about Tomale. I can see you, Scott. I can see you getting excited about Tomale. This is not a gay straight issue, guys. Because a lot of, for the longest time, we thought, well, it's only the Zona Romantica bars that are being nasty. No, 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 no. It's bars all over the city. And over here in my neighborhood, there's other bars. There's places like Pecado and so forth and so on. I mean, bars are just looking in a different direction. And I can't blame them. I mean, if there's money to be made, if there's prosperity to be had, I can't blame you. But the governor has been very clear. We're not going to prioritize anything above the health and well being of citizens. There you go. If the bars would have paid any attention to any other protocols, they would not be shut down. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The cases of COVID aren't as lethal this time. Put on your damn masks and get vaccinated. Absolutely. I see the old candy bar is being demolished. Oh, wow. That's unfortunate because that was a beautiful property before they candy barized it. Maybe condos? I don't know. Um, Paco, love the program in one of your 4 daily research sessions. Please take a look at the chart of COVID cases over time. Pick your favorite country, state, municipality. Then try to pick out when they had a lockdown, when the lockdown was lifted, when they had a mask mandate, when the mask mandate was lifted, when the capacity of bars and restaurants was lifted, and when they limited that. If these measures are as effective as they tell us, it should be obvious from the data, shouldn't it? Well, David, I am not sure that I agree or disagree, and I'm not going to do what you're suggesting I do because I am not a researcher. Um, if you are so curious about this, I invite you to take a look at all these things and you let me know how it went. We just don't have the time of day to be looking at what's happening elsewhere. We focus our attention on news that have to do with Puerto Vallarta in the state of Jalisco, in the country of Mexico. But let us know how it goes and keep us posted. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. Nice to see you a little feisty. Well, but we're harmless, Anna. We are totally harmless. Feisty, yes, but harmless. Let's see what else we have. Boom, 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 boom. Another condo building. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, a big religious condo building because it's of course in front of the church. So it's gotta be a holy condo. That's it. That's what it's going to be, Catherine. They're going to build a holy condo. Where is the sound that we need? I don't know if we need this one. It's a holy condo. Or maybe this one. They're going to build a holy condo. Okay, so I'm having too much fun with my buttons. David is arriving next Wednesday and will be paying attention to and following the guidelines in place. Would it be wise to carry a copy of my vaccination with me? Um, just carry a photocopy of it, David. I don't think you're going to need it anywhere, but it couldn't hurt. It couldn't hurt. Let's see what else. Oh, thank you, Terry. Thank you. So, sometimes these words they linger in my head because I know that I've read them somewhere, and I think I associate the words with a meaning. But ultimately, it's not that I use those words on a regular basis. Thank you very much for that. Flagrantry. is a great word. See, there's a word. We should all try to use that today. Let's see. Uh, 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 uh. Okay, I think we are pretty much at the end of the news today. There's a couple more comments that you've made about shutdowns and this, that, and the other. Ultimately, we can spend a lot of time commenting and agreeing or disagreeing, but the bottom line for me, uh, oh Scott, I'd love to buy you a beer one of these days. Tómale. Anyhow, we can agree or disagree, speculate about fragrantry, whatever the F word. We can speculate about that new F word, but the bottom line is there are things we can choose, or there are things that we have a choice to fix or control, and there are things that we don't. We can't control what the governor decides to do. We can't control what authorities decide to do. We can only control what we choose to do for ourselves. We can only control our responsibilities. So stay informed, stay cautious, talk to your friends, wear the mask, keep the safe distance, stay at home, try crocheting. It's done wonders for me. Even my sister's getting into the tomales now. There she goes. Will I share the link to the story about banderas? But we always share all these links in our show notes, Amanda. Don't worry. Oh my God! All of a sudden, your comments are. As soon as I say I'm getting ready to leave, and all you guys start like commenting. Holy condos in Emiliano Zapata. They will have to say prayer when they flush. Oh my God. Yes, it is time to start drinking heavily, Alan. I think I am going to side with you. It's got to be wine o'clock somewhere. You guys have been fantastic today. You guys have made me laugh. You guys have made me feel like there are some like minded folks out there. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for being part of this community. And thank you for doing with Luna and I our share of being as responsible, as mindful as we possibly can be. Have a great Friday, and I'll see you again tomorrow, and if not, sometime in the near future. Take care.